time now for the Campaign Beat, our daily roundup of news from the French presidential campaign trail with Florence Villeminot.
Hey,
Hi,
Jeannie.
Flo. Now, security issues we were just mentioning, the terrorist threat, all of this has taken the spotlight in the final days before round one. This after those two men were arrested in the southern port city of Marseille, suspected of planning an imminent attack on French soil.
And security has been stepped up on the campaign trail. We'll be able to see some images, for instance, of a rally held in Lille yesterday by the Conservative candidate François Fillon. In these images, you can see a helicopter, supporters getting patted down before they enter this venue. Now, authorities believe that Fillon might have been targeted by this foiled attack. His security had already been increased in recent days. He and other candidates have come out to say that this incident should not upset the campaign. Let's take a listen.
It doesn't change anything from my campaign, and I really think it shouldn't drive us to focus the debate on questions of security.
I'm going to continue to meet voters, to travel around. The Ministry of the Interior is taking care of our security. They're trying to divide us and exploit this campaign. We shouldn't fall into that trap.
An attack was foiled. We should be reassured. But I don't want to take that incident, which is serious enough, and exploit it for political gains.
Now, the first round of voting is this Sunday, and some 50,000 police officers and soldiers are already set to be deployed across the country to ensure the security of those polling stations.
There are critics, however, who say that this is too little, too late. For instance, the far-right National Front has really come out lashing out against the current administration's handling of the terrorist threat. Just listen to the vice president of the National Front, Florian Philippot. He was actually on France 24 last night.
The threat hasn't disappeared, it's even more present than ever. And what we're paying for with this foiled terror attack in Marseille is leniency. There's been leniency for the past two presidencies. This is the leniency of governments who did nothing and still don't do anything to face threats.
In the meantime, the race is still very tight with just a few days to go to round one. All the candidates, all their supporters are throwing all their energy in this home stretch to try and pick up those infamous undecided voters.
One by one. Each vote counts, of course. Now, our team of reporters, Claire Williams, Karina Chabour, and Jessica Sestelli, have been following Team Macron, Emmanuel Macron's team of En Marcheurs, that's what they're called. They've been canvassing for votes across the country, and it's really interesting because they're borrowing techniques that have been developed stateside and that were used very successfully by Barack Obama in 2008. Will this winning recipe work for Emmanuel Macron? Check out our France 24 report.
Pour moi, les badges sont toujours bien, les autocollants toujours bien, les cahiers, pour moi, un peu moins, mais c'est beau.
Campaign rule number one, connect. Wearing standout matching raincoats is not the best tactic.
Pour moi, la bonne pratique, c'est toujours d'être comme ami voisin, et pas comme juste militant. Ouais.
And so the raincoats come off. Lex Paulson worked on Barack Obama's grassroots election campaign. He now teaches at Sciences Po University in Paris. And as a volunteer, he's training Macron supporters to go door-to-door campaigning, Obama style.
C'est pas « Bonjour, je suis membre d'En Marche ». Non, on fait pas ça. Bonjour, je suis Lex, volontaire, voisin, et on est là pour encourager les gens à aller voter. Message positif, pas de pression, mais positif, 3 minutes et prochaine porte.
They're political novices with very high expectations.
There's something powerful going on. Enthusiasm, a spirit of hope. Macron gives us hope in the same way Obama did for Americans.
Lex Paulson is not the only one drawing on his experience of Obama's campaign. The former Washington correspondent for a French TV channel has also joined Macron's team.
I remember in Iowa there were young people who had quit their jobs to join Obama's team because they felt like they were going to change the world.
Like those young Americans did with Obama, 27-year-old Augustin Boulot has taken a chance on Macron. In July last year, he left his comfortable consultant job in Madrid. After 6 months volunteering for the 39-year-old candidate, he was offered a temporary contract coordinating activists in Paris. But Augustin doesn't have any political experience of his own.
The first stage is to teach local committees and members what activism is all about. We had to teach them the kind of arguments they need when they're on the ground.
At the Paris headquarters, 150 people coordinate campaigners working on the ground, and they're all desperate for their candidate to enjoy an Obama-style victory.
Now, Emmanuel Macron may be drawing inspiration from Barack Obama. Another French candidate here has been very innovative in the campaign as well. Far-left candidate Jean-Luc Mélenchon, who's almost inspired himself from Star Trek, if you could say.
Star Trek, Princess Leia, two-pack. Lots of people have been using the techniques that he has been using. Now, Mélenchon is arguably the most tech-savvy candidate in this presidential race. He's very 2.0. He's very active on social media, and he's been using holograms. Now, he already did this during a previous rally, but he really one-upped himself last night. He was physically present in Dijon, but his speech was broadcast by a hologram in 6 different cities. So in Clermont-Ferrand, Grenoble, Montpellier, Nancy, Nantes, and even on Reunion Island, so in the Indian Ocean. Our reporter Chris Moore was in Nantes, where he witnessed the magic.
Well, a click of the fingers, 650 kilometres away in Dijon, and Jean-Luc Mélenchon's hologram appeared on stage here in Nantes and in a number of venues around France. A combined audience of 35,000 people, we're told, and Jean-Luc Mélenchon and his hologram certainly starting to capture some people's imagination.
It's interesting, really good quality. I enjoyed believing in it. He seemed real.
It was great, very lively. It seemed like he was here with us.
I think it's really interesting, such a creative way to campaign. How cool and crazy to imagine Jean-Luc Mélenchon was in Dijon and 6 other cities at the same time. It's incredible he can spread his ideas in such a widespread and original way.
The key themes of the speech were equality and how to govern. Lots of stock campaign messages about wealth redistribution, getting out of the nuclear business, moving towards organic farming, renegotiating European treaties. But Jean-Luc Mélenchon is also portraying himself now as somebody who is capable of being president. His core message after this surge in the polls has become, if you want to vote left, you have to vote for me.
It's France 24's Chris Moore. Flo, just to wrap up, François Fillon, the Conservative candidate, is getting some last-minute support from a heavyweight.
Very heavyweight. This is Alain Juppé. Now, remember, Alain Juppé and François Fillon ran against each other in the final round of the primary in November. You can see them shaking hands here. These are actually France 24 images filmed by Gary Schimmelbauer. You can see a little bit of a frosty and fast handshake, but important nonetheless. Yesterday, Fillon got the support from another heavyweight, the former president, Nicolas Sarkozy. He chose to give his support in a video posted on Twitter. Let's take a listen.
He has the experience, the will, and the program that will allow France to move on from the disastrous 5 years we've just been through and avoid the risk of extremism.
Well, that wraps it up for today. Thanks so much, Flo, for that look at the French election. And if you're interested in what's happening in this incredible campaign, do check out our election compass. Now, this is a tool developed by France 24 in partnership with Vox Pop Labs. It calculates how your political views compare with those of the French presidential candidates, and it can lead to some surprising results.